Commercial Construction Coffee Talk fans, thanks for chiming in. My name's David Corson. I'm your host. I'm also the publisher and editor of Commercial Construction and Renovation magazine. Hope everybody's having a great holiday season. Christmas is around the corner. Santa's getting ready to, drop some presents. The question are, were you good or were you naughty? You don't want to get that coal in your stocking and stuff. I'm a nice Jewish boy, so we just had Hanukkah and the Festival of Lights, and received a bunch of texts and emails from my buds, and wishing me happy holiday there too. And listen, 2021, we're only a little less than probably a little over 3 weeks away of shutting the chapter on this crazy roller coaster of a year, and open up the new year, a new chapter in 2022, which I think is going to be an awesome year. And but for all you out there, listen, you've done a great job getting this far. So you only got a couple more weeks to go, and we close this year, and we're out. Locally, I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. So our Bulldogs, we took it on the chin, lost to the Bama. The Tide. It was kind of a crushing blow, but we're still in the hunt. In the championship. Got to beat Michigan to get back, and hopefully Bama will beat Cincy. And we'll get another crack at them on New Year's Eve, and make it in there for the championship. But you know what? Hey, at Bama, better watch out. Those Cincinnati Bearcats, they're undefeated. They got a pretty good darn team. So all in all, it's going to be a fun thing to watch. I'm always pulling for the underdog. So go Bearcats. That's all I got to say. So, of course, we had the Braves win. They're still, loving the World Series. We were an underdog there. No one even expected them here. I'm a Yankee living in the South. So, I pull for all the Atlanta teams. And, it was nice to see them come through and, get her done, on the diamond. And very exciting. So today, got an awesome guest. All you out there, power. Power is an essential thing. I don't care if it's for your house, for your facility, hospital, whatever. We can't do anything without power. All right. So today we have Guillaume, correct? Did I say it right?
Guillaume.
Okay. Guillaume, he's a senior vice president with Square D, which is a Schneider Electric division. He's out of Dallas, Texas. So Guillaume, I want you to say hi to our listeners out there in Commercial Construction Coffee Talk land.
Hello, Dave. Hey, thanks for having me. Happy holidays to everyone. Very happy to be with you today.
Pleasure to have you. We're honored to have you, because, listen, you're one of the big three in power, and you got all sorts of other stuff that you do, lighting, facility man, listen, you got all sorts of stuff going on. So we're honored to have you on Commercial Construction Coffee Talk. And this is the way it works. Kind of do it in 3 parts. You're going to tell your story, and then we'll talk about, Square D coming out of the pandemic, lessons learned, any new products that you might have, and then, we'll close it out. So with that said, Guillaume, which I said correctly, tell us your story, where you grew up, where you went to school, children, all that good stuff.
Thanks, Dave. Well, hey, I'll try to go fast. Hey, you probably got it from my accent already. I live in Dallas, Texas. I was not born in Dallas, Texas. I grew up in Paris, France. I'm French, and I moved to the US about 10 years ago now. So it's been a while. All of them in Texas, but working, as you said, Schneider Electric is a large organization. We have operations all across the US, all across North America. And I've been serving this organization for the past 10 years now. Prior to that, I was in Schneider Europe. I've been in different functions at Schneider. I joined Schneider in 2008, right before the crisis. By training, I'm an airspace engineer. So I was in consulting for a couple of years before joining Schneider. And in Schneider, I got the chance of going through different functions from finance, marketing, strategic accounts, commercial, and lately leading our power systems division. What power systems stands for is the equipment business, the large gear. So mostly commercial and industrial applications. Very pleased to be here. Schneider is doing well this year. You've seen our reports. Schneider, as I said, is a large corporation, 120 5,000 plus employees, of which 25% is in North America. So we're very, very pleased to be a strong North American US player, supporting every businesses along all the market segments we serve, from building, data center, industrial or infrastructure. Again, thanks for having us, and I look forward to discussing a little bit the context and the economical situation we're in.
What was your my son went to FA mechanic school, and he was going to work for Delta, and then Boeing came in and said, hey, we're going to pay you more money because labor shortage, you know, and so he moved to Charleston, and he's I can't really say what he's working on, Boeing, but anyway, he's on the line. And so what was your aerospace? What was your specialty?
So my specialty in aerospace was automation. I worked a little bit for the Airbus group, mostly on the helicopter division when I was in consulting. Then my passion is speed. So you have it when you work in the airspace industry. Then I started to look a little bit more into the automotive industry. So I spent a lot of time with the European manufacturers of the automotive sector. And after 5 years being in consulting, serving different customers, I decided to join one industry, and that was Schneider Electric. And you know what? I discovered that electricity goes even faster than cars and planes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You know, avionics was my son's like, avionics, electrical. Oh, you know, but now he's like, hey, you know, listen, he did everything: sheet metal, woodworking, you know, he learned all that stuff when he was in school. And but you know, electrical, like I said, without power and transmission of it, whether you know, nothing's moving in this country. I mean, it is what it is. You know, it's just like all the chips that all the trucks are missing that are parked in Tennessee. You know, and they're not going to go on the dealer lots because, you know, those chips are transmitters and, you know, make the engines run, or, you know, the windows go down and, you know, all that stuff. So it's an amazing thing. But, you know, on your side, you know, you kept a lot of the commercial properties, you know, running, you know, that were essential businesses. So, you know, there could be, you know, the grocery stores could be open, or the hospitals could be open, and all of those things. So you know, you were an essential part of keeping things running through last March when, you know, the bug came and everything got shut down and all that stuff. And, you know, you know, that, hey, listen, are you an American citizen, or are you a green card? Are you in here?
I'm a green card holder. I've been in the US for 9 years now, so I could switch. My wife actually just completed the process of moving from a green card to becoming a citizen. I mean, I'll be soon in process myself.
Has she been sworn in yet, or is there?
Yes, he has.
Oh, actually, congratulations to her! Welcome to America. You know,
exactly. So I'm the weird passport when traveling with my wife and my kids. So I need to get this color at some point back to blue.
Listen, if it wasn't for the French, we wouldn't have won the revolution back in when you know, the French helped us out.
I can turn this sentence another way about a century ago as well. So if it wasn't for the US, we would be in a different situation as well in Europe. So
it goes both ways. You know, I mean,
between our countries,
we're allies.
We love it, and really, there's very little times where I worry about the color of my passport. With the pandemic, I've started to do that again, because I don't think any of us would have imagined 12 months ago that depending on the color of your passport, you would be entitled to enter this country or not this country, or get quarantined or not quarantined. So that's a little bit new, but we're managing through it. And it's really, the US has been a fantastic place to live and to work in for the past 9 years. Enjoyed it a lot. If anything, I think that the past 9 years were extremely interesting, challenging, but extremely interesting. Continuous new things to do. I think the next 10 years are going to be even better. What's coming into the US, the energy transition we have to drive collectively. That's here I'm talking about Schneider Electric, obviously, but I'm talking about our whole industry, our whole construction industry, the energy transition we have to go with. And the acceleration we're seeing right now, that's what's fantastic.
Yeah.
I was discussing a few weeks ago with colleagues, and we were reflecting on how fast this transition is happening. 10 years ago, we were looking at electric vehicles, and they were a thought, they were an idea, they were something to chat about. And if you were bold enough, you would have made the step of going for one full electric vehicle. Look where we are today. I think no one now is looking at an electric vehicle thinking it's a weird thought. It's there. It's a reality. Most of the major manufacturers are launching electric vehicle, and we have to run after building the infrastructure to support them. That's true for this. That's true for smart home. That's true for smart building, smart industry, industry 4.0. All of this is accelerating crazy, and that makes my perspective on what's coming in our market very, very interesting.
Since you're a car guy, yesterday, I was looking at Facebook, and one of my buds, he just got a new Corvette. He's down in South Florida. So when I saw this video, someone sent it to me, shared it with me. It was a Tesla electric vehicle, 4-door sedan, taking on the new Corvette on a drag strip. And the freaking Tesla took them both times, one at night and one during the day. So it was two different cars, they were all different, but off the line, the first video, the Tesla smoked the Vet. The second one, the Vet got the jump, but then the Tesla overtook it. And as an electric vehicle, that's just an amazing thing to see. I mean, the horsepower and the pistons underneath that Corvette. I mean, that's a beast. And here, an electric vehicle coming off the line, with very little noise and just being powered electrical wise, took them. And they're going 120, 140 miles and down the drag strip, but took the Vet. I mean, just an amazing thing to see. So
it's proven technology. I think it's 10 years ago we were learning, we were building it, and now it's proven technology, and it's only going to get better. And there'll be further technologies, by the way, coming down the line. But the important thing is it's real. I think it's what's interesting when we look at our industry. We were mentioning electricity is everywhere. Yes, it's everywhere, but if you look at what powers your building or your manufacturing plant or your house, the electrical gear, the electrical panel, the electrical switch gear you have there is not fundamentally that different from 10 or 20 years ago. And that's what's going to change. The technology is there. The need for smarter equipment is there too, because we need to use better our energy. We need to collectively embrace the new technology and say, hey, it's going faster and I'm going to switch faster. That's for me is what's really, really interesting, and create all this passion and energy for the next 10 years. We have something very, very challenging and interesting to accomplish all together.
When I sold my house, we redid our basement. So, and I worked with a lot of the vendors that I did. So I put all LED can lights, in the house, and they were so easy to install, low heat, low energy, and we tried to put as many green products as that we could. Even the flooring, giving off low emissions and all that kind of stuff. And it's an amazing thing. Like you said, just the fuse box, the breaker box in your home, that'll look completely different down the road, because the components that you're going to put, but someone's still going to have to build it. Someone's still going to have to transport it. Someone's still going to have to install it. Not going to be well, there could be robots, who knows, but it's still, people are going to have to work on all that stuff, whether it's ripping it out, putting it back in. And I'm all for shortening my electric bill. I mean, my wife likes leaving all the lights on. I like, if you're not in that room, don't leave the light on, turn it off. You're burning energy. The biggest thing is I, like we were talking before we got on there, I bought a piece of land up on the lake. So I'd love to put solar panels up on my roof, so I could generate my own my power, and then be able, when I'm not using it, putting on the grid so what someone else could use it, make a little income on it. And but I just don't know if the HOA is going to do it. My old neighborhood, they wouldn't let me do it. I'm like, that's crazy,
It is, and we know it's not even a hope at this point. We know it's going to change. We know it's going to change because it has to change. Uh, there's need in terms of reduction of the greenhouse gas that we emit every year, and this is real objective, quantitative objective that the world collectively need to accomplish. So we'll have to get there. At a house level, it's pretty simple to, so you know what I like in what you said is you already taking some steps, and that's great. You're looking for the smart materials that are going to make sure that you have as little loss of energy between your house and the exterior. You're looking at smart lighting that can be controlled remotely, lighting that can adapt to presence or non-presence, and lighting that also, because it's LED, consume less natively. But the next step is, what else consume electricity at your home?
Oh,
you have a panel that can analyze that for you. We just need to make it smarter. And what's really interesting for me is this technology already exists. It's not, I'm not talking about Steven Spielberg or George Lucas movie here in a, look, it's going to be great in 30 years. All of this already exists. You can put simple smart metering technology. At Schneider, we call it Wiser, but you have many on the market. You can put smart metering technology that tells you, hey, I didn't realize that by the way I operate my house today is I run my hairdryer or my washer and dryer at the same time as I have my oven and a few other equipment running. I don't need to do that. I never really thought about it. But this is going to show you what's your behavior and how it impacts the grid, how it impacts, by the way, it might be a microgrid, it might be your own grid if you want solar panel. And you might realize that you have, by tweaking very, very tiny things of the way you operate, the opportunity to do massive savings for you, harm money on your pocket, and also good for the environment. And that's the vision of Schneider. It's like, hey, the environment and performance don't go against each other. They go together. By performing well, you allow to reduce your consumption on the environment. That's why we're so excited about this approach, is to say, hey, we have the opportunity to have a win-win here. And again, technology already exists. It exists at a smart house level, and it's even higher what you can do when you go into a building, when you go into a an industrial plant or infrastructure power plant. You can do all of this, and we're here to help.
I had a guy from Israel on, and he did water sensors in buildings, because water is like the silent killer. You know, it's not like fire where you see smoke and the fire department comes and whatever. Water could run forever, and water can be very damaging to a facility. And now any new building in certain countries or even states here in the U.S. that they're going to start speccing these, that you need to have these if they're X amount of stories up, and just that little sensor that they're going to incorporate could save a lot of money down the road, because not only water is a commodity, just like power is, that it's just amazing what's happening. You're so right. I mean, listen, we're going to talk about the pandemic, but the pandemic really was a catalyst to push a lot of things.
Accelerate.
Oh, I mean, accelerate. I mean, it was just like I before we were talking, I was print face to face, and overnight I became digital. But I was set up internally. Other people kind of had to had some other obstacles or hindrances to make that. But a lot of people had to adapt very quickly to be able to run their offices, whether people were working out of their homes or whichever way they were going to do it, with a hybrid, maybe half and half or whatever it might be. But and then dealing with the regulations in different states. If you were in a state where there were tight regulations in construction, and you were doing a plumbing where people had to be close in together, you might not be able to get that project. But if you were out on a federal project on the highway, you probably were able to get it done. So you were down in Texas, so you went through the snowstorm when the power grid and the freezing went off, correct?
Exactly. In February,
so did you lose your power during that storm?
So I'm lucky. I live next to, not too far to a police station. So our grid was actually always on. But my neighbor down the street actually lost his power, so we had his family stay with us for a couple of days.
So I'm sure your mind was thinking that during that whole week when Dallas was frozen, you're thinking, oh my God, we need to fix this. Am I right?
But so there's an immediate reaction, which is, hey, how is the hardware failing us? So you want to fix the hardware. I think, you just made a parallel on your business. You went digital from one day to another. You had to. So your business went from being able to interact with people, physical copy, to being 100% digital. I assume that very quickly you had to use more analytics to know, hey, what is the format that my listener, my audience wants us to use? Is it a 20-minute, 30-minute? What works better for them? How often do they connect? How often should I post new elements? The analytics allowed you to be the most effective at what you do and give your audience the right content that they want to listen to or they want to receive. Same for electricity. Before trying to fix the hardware, the first thing you need is data point analytics. It could have been much worse, by the way, the situation in Texas. It could have been much worse. It was very, very bad. Could have been worse, but it could have been also much better if we had had more analytics and more data sooner. And again, this is not science fiction technology. This is metering technology we've had for 20 years. It's just about deploying it. It's about the wheel of saying, we're going to put more connectivity in there. We're not going to leave the meter static. We're going to connect it to the cloud. We're going to send this data, and we're going to have some analytics process this data every hour or every minute, depending on how critical it is. And by doing so, we will ensure that we create new value of preventive maintenance, being able to anticipate on events, safety, and efficiency. Because when you know how things operate, sometimes you can find some modes of operation that are not the most efficient, and you can optimize them. This is not science fiction. This is real. This is things we can get done right now. By the way, for the people who work in this industry, when we do it, it unlocks a whole new potential of operational expenditure, the OPEX on top of the CAPEX of the initial project. And what we're seeing when we do it is that the OPEX world is actually twice as big as the CAPEX world. So there's a real business opportunity on top of doing good for the environment and for the users. Again, I was part of the crisis in Texas. I can tell you, I would have liked all this grid to be fully connected and much more digital and anticipate. Would it have solved the problem? That's a much different question. I'm not going to venture an answer to that, but it would definitely, it's never bad to have the information as early as possible.
Sure. So let's talk about, your power division. You probably had a lot of plans before the pandemic. The pandemic hit. Then you're trying to figure out, do we go forward with these products or new projects, or, keeping your clients happy, having to deal with, projects being put on hold or pushed back, all the different things that goes on with a project. Tell us some exciting things that your division has coming up, that, looking back over the last 18 months, coming up into 2022, what kind of new products are Square D going to be coming out with that we can look forward to seeing?
Well, you're not going to be surprised after what I just mentioned about connectivity and data and being able to analyze the profile of energy. We're coming with many innovation in 2022. Actually, the last key launch we did was in November 2021, so just a month ago. And it's an offer that we call FlexSet, and it's a double innovation. It's connected, so it sends information to the cloud or to a local server, depending on the customer profile, and it allows you to understand what's happening in your installation. But it's also an equipment that we've made much simpler to assemble, much simpler to install, and basically more friendly for the user, much more friendly for the user. So that's one innovation we launched 1 month ago. And you're going to hear us launching many more new innovations, a lot of them around the digital and safety aspect of the products. So digital connectivity, we need every equipment to be connectable and ideally connected. Look, there's a lot of industries that still do on-site thermal monitoring. It means you send someone with a laser thermometer, and it checks the temperature inside the equipment. It still needs to be done often because of safety reasons, but you could complement this action with connected thermal monitoring that by nature will be so much faster than going there. Because if you have a sensor connected with a GSM to the cloud, it can send the data every second and it costs nothing.
I remember when I launched my magazine, shoot, 20 years ago, one of my clients was in the HVAC, you know, one of the big three, and they put sensors on, big retailers, chains, before it was, common, where you, like you said, the HVAC condition, maintenance guy would go up there, he would check to see if the unit was running properly, whatever. And then they put the sensor on, and they were able to do it remotely. And if there was something wrong with the HVAC unit, let's say, their gig was in North Carolina, but they had a store out in California, all of a sudden that sensor would say, hey, there's something wrong with this unit. You need to get an HVAC tech out there right now to, fix whatever's going on. And, on the screen, you would see location, store number, they can monitor everything versus having some. So that technology was out there, but a lot of people had to accept it. And, but once again, you still have to have someone put that technology in or replace the old technology with the new. And I'm all with you there.
So again, the technology exists. The benefits in terms of averting any interruption, higher safety on the equipment, higher efficiency. Very often we detect that people do not use their equipment in the most efficient way for them. All of these are benefits that we can claim and we can prove they already exist. And we're seeing more and more customers going this way. We're trying to continue pushing it in the industry. Back to the analogy with the electric vehicle, it took time to really become a reality. I think that's exactly what's happening in our industry. We're seeing the digitization of our equipment becoming a reality. There's no such thing as Industry 4.0 without connected PLCs that share the data and allow you to understand how the plant is operating. Well, we want to deploy the same. We want to have, for the energy, for the power distribution, the ability to aggregate this data and then put some intelligence on it, put some analytics on it. We have service bureaus that analyze energy data 24/7 and can find really some interesting finding on the way customers are operating. And the ultimate goal is not only saving and efficiency, it's also we're doing our part in decarbonizing our industry, decarbonizing our buildings, decarbonizing our infrastructure. And this is key. We know that this is something we all need to collectively take.
You know what was amazing? Like I was old school, so I loved my magazine. I liked having it in my hands. I like reading. And the newer generation, like my son, he doesn't even know what a magazine is. If he wants to read something, he's going to look at it on his watch or on his phone and so forth. So I didn't make the total switch to digital. I still did a very small press run because I wanted to keep my advertisers happy. And we were going to make the announcement, I think, in January because it's a new year, and say, hey, look, we're just going digital. And we did a very small press run. The magazine never looked nicer. We went on a digital printer. It never looked nicer in the last 20 years. But I went to a couple of my advertisers and I just said, hey, you've got like 50 people, 4 offices around the country. I'm sending you 1 or 2 copies to your office. Do you really need that copy? Because I can do so many more things for you digitally than, on the web than printing that copy, spending the time mailing it to you. I just want to get rid of it, and my editor, my artist, when we decided to go digital, they were like, let's go digital, 100%. I was like, no, I still wanted to. So we went through that, half of last year. And then in August, I said, this is the last issue. This is my last issue I printed. Issue number 8, August. This is the last one I done. And I just said, I'm not going to wait till January. I'm going to do it now. But coming from a print guy, all this time to make that step and say, okay, I'm done with it. I'm just going to go digital. And you can still get print on demand, and you can still do reprints. We offer that stuff because people still use those marketing materials. But it was stuff, no, I'm going to do that, and a lot of my customers that I've known for the last 25 years, a lot of them are retiring. Those are the guys that wanted to get the magazine. The newer generation that's coming in and filling all these seats and so forth. Like I said, they don't even want their whole repertoire of doing things is completely different. And, socially, business-wise, politically, all of those things. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to have to adapt and, go that route.
What you describe, I think, is going to resonates for us at Schneider Electric, and resonates surely for many of our electrical contractors in the construction industry. We're all in this marketplace searching for the next generation of talent. And these new, fresh out of university, these kids with a bachelor degree in electrical, their eyes light up when you explain them that the value we're going to create is equally through the hardware and how it's going to operate, being secure, being the right quality, all that what the electrical equipment has always been. But on top of that, this ability to connect, to remotely control, remotely monitor, maybe not control at first, but remotely monitor, understand how it's operating, and helping the customers to decarbonize by making more out of their energy. This is the place where this young generation, they're like, okay, now I get it. Now I get why this industry is critical for the future. I really believe this is going to talk so well to the new engineers, the new electricians coming out in the field today, and we have to embrace it. We have been in the business for a little longer. We have to embrace, because this is the new technology. This is what's going to be the future.
There's a labor shortage right now. I just wrote my publisher's column in my latest issue about the labor shortage. And between 2000, I think it's 18 to 28, there'll be 2.5 to 3 million manufacturing jobs that are not going to be able to be filled because the younger generation doesn't want to do blue collar work. And we have to do something if we want to keep the economy going, because you need manpower. I don't care if you're building green products and all that stuff. So my keynote at my summit coming up virtually on January 20th, I'm working with an outfit called Rock the Trades. They're backed by Stanley Tools, and they're trying to bring back shop classes into school and get kids that want to do the 4-year degree thing. And college isn't for everybody. And to teach them and say, hey, being an electrician or being a plumber or being a tradesman and working with your hands, or, in this new digital age where, connectivity and all that, you still have to do stuff with your hands. Every day you're doing stuff on your phone. You might not be doing a hammer, but so we want to, drive that home and say, hey, listen, you don't need to go to college, even though I'm not pounding on the colleges. I'm saying, hey, go be an intern, become an electrician, make money while you learn. And then if you want to stay with that corporation and climb the corporate ladder, great. If not, you can become an entrepreneur and start your own company. We need that army out there of the younger generation to fill these. Just like when my son, he wanted to do cars, he wanted to do motorcycles, he wanted to work with his hands, and he found there were 600,000 flight mechanics that were going to be, they've been around 30 years, that were going to retire. Who's going to work on all these planes? And the planes have to be maintained. You just can't leave a 757 parked on the runway. You got to maintain it, every day. So, so he went the aerospace route, and but he can work on a jet engine that's in a hospital, in a train, in an airplane. He's got all of that, knowledge that he picked up in school, and he didn't have to do it over 4 years. He did it over a 24-month period, I think it was, that he went. So
I think you're absolutely right on first, it's not a matter of degree. The reality is we are all going to have to become digital professionals. And might sound scary at first because you're like, well, I might not have the skills, or how it's going to, what does it entail for my trade every day? But my first advice to anyone here listening is, we've all already become digital human beings, because probably 99% of us, especially if we're connected to the podcast, we have smartphones that we use. No matter what our degree is, we all have smartphones. We became digital human beings. It's the role of the manufacturers of electrical equipment to make the transition from human being to digital human being exactly the same as going from an electrical professional to a digital electrical professional. We're going to make it equally easy for you. And the first proof of that is, ask yourself the next time you show up at your customer, the next time you go at a house, at a commercial building, a restaurant, a hotel, a data center, an industrial plant, next time you show up at one of your customers, ask yourself, hey, what I just installed, what I just repaired, does it have a digital twin in the cloud? What it means is, does a manufacturer of this product knows about the existence of this product at this location? Because if so, if the manufacturer just knew that this product is there, was installed at that time, was retrofitted or repaired on that date, he could naturally send a reminder to the owner saying, by the way, this is an equipment that we recommend you get inspected every 2 years. What do you for your inspection? Get someone, ask them to come. You'd rather want to do it before you actually have to do it because it failed. Sure. So these are things. Digital twin is as simple as that. It's just knowing where it is. Then if you connect your digital twin to your cloud, you can actually see how it's performing. These are simple changes from the old world to the digital world that are not going to require massive transformation of our force. It's just embracing the digital business and promoting it, and just telling about it to your customers and say, hey, it's not going to be a big effort. It's and it's going to progressively unload more value for you, Mr. Customer.
What a great conversation. It's hey, we're talking cars, we're talking construction, we're talking transformation, unbelievable. So if you were going to leave one positive thought or phrase to our listeners out there in commercial construction coffee talk land, they're out in the digital web, what would it be?
Well, I want to go back to the big picture and what really motivates our company, Schneider Electric. And it's basically to help solve for the collective challenge we have when it comes to greenhouse emissions. And our belief is one of the levers that we have to use in order to get there is to optimize the way we use our energy, use it better. In this context, the United States represents a massive opportunity, because the key market in the United States, as you said, electricity is everywhere. It's in buildings, it's in industry, it's in infrastructure, it's in residential market, it's everywhere. All these markets are going up right now, supported by the recovery of the economy after the pandemic, supported by the federal government putting more money into the economy. The markets are going well. When the market is up, when we have this opportunity of a strong market coming our way, we need to ask ourselves, how can I promote this transition towards smarter energy? It's very important we do it now, because we're going to put so much new infrastructure, new buildings, new industry online, that if we don't make them smart, we're going to regret in 5-10 years from now, hey, why didn't I go for what was a challenge that I knew was coming my way anyway? So my key line of thought for anyone here interested in this topic, it's ask, hey, what do I believe is the building of the future? How smart do I want to make it? You don't have to go for the full picture at first, but there's definitely many steps you can take right now that will make your building more efficient, whatever building it is, a commercial building, an industrial plant, an infrastructure. And we're here to help. We are 100% committed to the task. This is our passion. This is our mission, and we'll be very happy to support you, whatever your need is.
As a construction point, there's always two lines that I always say, measure twice, cut once, and make sure you do all the wiring before you put the drywall up, period. So I'm right along those lines. If someone wanted to, get in touch with you, how would they reach out to you, to, talk about Schneider and, or, just pick your brain and so forth? How would they reach out to you, Guillermo?
Well, hey, first, as you've mentioned, Schneider is a large company, so we have offices in every state across all the major cities in the US. So feel free to reach out to any Schneider executive. We'll put you in contact with the right person depending on your need. If you want to reach me personally, I'm on LinkedIn. You can all find me, Guillaume Le Gouic. If you search for Schneider Electric, you'll find me easily. My email is guillaume.le-gouic@ac.com. You can reach out to me by email as well. And again, very happy to discuss, to engage, or to partner into business. Just let us know. We'll be available for you.
All right. Listen, if anyone wants to reach me, you get me at davidc@ccr-mag.com. Listen, we had 2.8 million people hit our website last month. I'm up 10 to 2 o'clock in the morning posting stuff. So if you have any cool stuff, I don't care if it's personnel announcements, hey, you did a charity gig, you got a new product, got a cool case study, send it to me. We find a place for it, whether it's in the digital magazine, up on the web, Twitter, we find a place for it. I look at everything, but it's like playing the lottery. If you don't buy a ticket, you can't win. So if you don't send me something, I can't look at it, just like his publicist. That's how we got Guillermo on here. They sent me a note. I looked at it. Hey, we'd love to, talk about, what's coming up in, in the power side of things. So, and if you're not a subscriber, up on my toolbar, hit the subscribe button. We'll get you added and we'll get you on the mailing list. So, hey, pleasure speaking with you. And listen, when you become a U.S. citizen, I'm going to give you the PreClap right now. All right.
Sounds good.
And so with that said, we really appreciate your time, and all of you out there in Commercial Construction Coffee Talk that are listening. Thanks for chiming in. It's been a great year. When I started this thing, last year I thought I was going to do one a month. Now we do, one a week or whatever. So it's been an amazing ride. I've learned a lot. Going to change my background for next year. Give it a new template. And but with that said, everybody, enjoy the rest of December. Enjoy the holidays. Recharge your battery, and enjoy the holiday season. And get ready for 2022. Close the books on 2021, and keep the faith and stay positive. And because there's light at the tunnel in many different areas. And I think 2022 is just going to be an unbelievable year. So with that said, Guillermo, say goodbye from Dallas, Texas.
Thanks a lot, Dave. Thanks to everyone listening, and enjoy the end of the year, everyone.
And I'm going to say goodbye just below the Beaufort Dam in Sugar Hill, Georgia, north of Atlanta, by Lake Lanier. And thanks again for chiming in, and we will see you next time on another episode of Commercial Construction Coffee Talk. Signing off, and Merry Christmas. See you later. Enjoyed the conversation. It was awesome. All right. Talk to you later. See you later. Bye.